Right guys, what's going on? This is Dave. Welcome back today to another Photoshop tutorial. A few weeks ago what I did was a kind of basic thumbnail tutorial for a few guys in the Football Manager community who wanted a little bit of help with that. Today we're actually going to be doing a channel art tutorial. Again, a couple of other people have asked me to do that. And the guy you can see on the screen right now, Just FM Saves, wanted a rebrand, so I thought I may as well take the opportunity to do a video on it as well. So, as you can see on the screen, I've already kind of redesigned him something a little bit different. If I get my internet up, I'm going to kind of show you what he had before, if I can. If I just search it on my other screen and then drag it across if I can find it. Because he had, now there you go, he had something a little bit like this, which he had for a while to be fair. But with the background and so on and the font sometimes isn't as easy to read, and already he's kind of got it on his Twitter and stuff, that one. So as you can see, this font is a lot easier to read, and we've also got the FM font as well involved, which is always a little bit different, especially as it's a Football Manager channel. So what we're going to be doing is just going through this, how to make a Twitter and YouTube banner as well. So for a basic avatar, really guys, as I said in the last tutorial, well, I'm going to start from the beginning of this one really. So what I'd normally do is file a new, and probably start with either 1000 by 1000 pixels canvas, and you want to click OK. So you'll probably have a screen like this to start off with, or if it's going to be transparent, it's going to look like that. You want to fill it with a white background or whatever color background that you want, and he asked for a teal color, so all I did was get a teal color from Google Images, and then I used this tool here called the eyedropper tool. If you click that and just click any color that you want, as you can see, it will come as your foreground color down here at the bottom left, and then what I just did was filled the layer with that. So then for the fonts, which ones I used, again I used DaFont. Originally I used this one called Aku and Kemu, which is a pretty nice little sans serif font. And then the FM font, if you guys don't know, I use one called Raiders, which is a free download. If you just type in Raiders download font, it will come up. And then I just use this tool here and clicked this tool to make it italics. To get this character tool up, what you want to do is go on Windows, and you want to go down to paragraph. Or what's that actually under character, is it? You want to go to character, sorry, and that'll come up. So all I did was mess with it. I'll go through the style really just to show how I got this, because as you can see, the space in between the saves and so on is a little bit different. So what I'll do is, you got your background, you just want a basic stuff. Obviously you can add patterns and so on in the background, or backgrounds and stuff, but this is just going to give you a quick idea of how to do things. So we're going to just use that same font as before, the Aku and Kemu font. We're going to want it in pure white, which is there. We're going to drop this font down a little bit. So if you go to the T, just scroll left a little bit to put the font down. And we're just going to type in Just FM Saves. So as you can see, if we save it like that, it doesn't look too good. So what I'm going to do, go back on your text tool. What I do is just highlight it all, and have your character window open here, and this one on the right here, top right, is the leading, which is the space between the lines. So we do it like that, and that looks good. And we don't want this font italics, so we'll just unclick that again. So as you can see, that actually doesn't look too bad. It looks a little bit better, but obviously we want the font to be a bit bigger now, and the leading will stay the same, so you're gonna have to increase that again. And then on the FM, we want to change that to Raiders as before, just to give you something a little bit different. I think I've gone past it, have I? Raiders, and then you want to change that to italics. As you can see, the Raiders, because of the it's a different font, it's not as tall and so on. So I'm just gonna increase that size until it's about the same size as the T. So they're a tiny bit short, but I think that'll do okay. That should be alright, I'd say. And then the saves, now what I want to do is kind of get it so it's level with these two lines here. So that's the end of the J and the end of the M. So all you want to do to that is go on the text again, highlight just the saves part, and then you can see here under the leading there's tracking, which is the space between letters, and we just do that, and there you go. Pretty simple as that really. Just view clear guides again, it looks a little bit different to the one I originally did. If I move out the way, I think it's just a bit smaller really, that's all. So if we undo that, make that a bit smaller, and then you want to click Control A, and then these two here, one's in the middle, and there you go. If you've got more room, one sec, is there a space at the end of here or something? Yeah, there's a space at the end of that. Is there? It's just a really big gap at the end of there. But yeah, if you would do that, and there you go. So I'm actually going to just keep the original one, just because I liked it a bit better. I don't think there's much difference in it at all, though, to be honest. But yeah, so there is your thing. Even if you know, you want to add an outline to that, just double click on that. You click stroke, so you'd end up having an outline like that. Or you can also add a shadow, which may make it look a bit better, which I use a lot of on a lot of things. So it doesn't look too bad at all. Even with the shadow, it looks quite nice. But I'll just keep it without the shadow for the time being, and without the stroke. So that is what we got. So it's pretty easy and pretty basic to make the avatar originally, guys. So just make sure that's all centralized and so on as well. So now for the channel art, what you want to do, well, for the banner, what you want to do is the probably easiest way is to go into Google and type in YouTube channel banner, and it will come up with all these sort of stuff. Now if you type in this image here is really handy. What I'll do first is copy and paste that. So if you copy that, go into Photoshop, file, new, it should come up with kind of like the right dimensions there, and you just paste it into there with Control and V. Now I'm going to use this to explain, because a lot of you may just think I'm just going to do a banner size and it will fit into YouTube perfectly, which it's not that straightforward. So as you can see here, the whole canvas is what you want to fill your banner with. But for example, I'm not just going to put just FM saves up here, because it won't actually show up on YouTube. Basically what it is, this whole screen, obviously YouTube you can get is available on all different platforms, TV, mobile, computer and so on. Now on this one, your text and logo safe area, which means this is going to be seen on everything, TV, mobile and so on, is this part in the middle here. On tablets you'll see a little bit more, this grey, this lighter grey, and this really light grey will be what you see on computers. So what you want to do really is keep all your text and all your pictures and all the important bits in this middle part, because you know then it's going to be seen on everything. So what we're going to do is use these as guides. So I'm going to use these rulers again and drag until I hit these lines, if it lets me. There, one here, one here, and one here. Even for a Twitter banner, that fits quite well with this sort of stuff in. So if I just zoom in and get that one a bit more precise. So there you go. Now what I'm going to do is create a new layer again. We want to go back on this just FM saves, use the eyedropper tool to get that teal color again, to get that teal color, and then we're just going to fill this layer. Oh, it must be on grayscale. This is my bad. Yeah, it's on grayscale. So if I just go to, if this ever happens to you, just go to image, if I can do it, image, you want to go to mode and then change it to RGB color. You can not flatten it, and then if I just paste there you go. So now we've got our teal background with these colors here. So that's going to be perfect for us to get going. So what I want to do now is the same sort of font. We're going to go with white again. We're going to type in just FM saves again. You guys can just drag or copy or whatever your own font into that. And we're just going to scroll this down a little bit. And I don't know why there's this space at the bottom, but yeah. And then obviously we want to change that FM to the Raiders font, which we said beforehand, and change it to italics. Put that a little bit bigger, and then as a whole I'm probably just going to change the lead in on this so it's all just a bit closer together. So once you've done all that, what I'll probably do though is add spaces there, just so I can make these two a little bit close together. And you guys could just mess around with this a little bit in your own time, obviously. What's that? Minus 320 there. I'll just type in the same, so everything's the same there. So that looks a little bit better. I may have to make the FM a tad bigger, but I think that looks okay for the time being. And we'll just centralize that for the time being as well, guys. Control and D to deselect there. So just drag this guide. So now we've got a basic one. You could even leave it as simple as that, because it looks pretty cool. But I know that Harry is a Reading fan, so we'll probably put a faint kind of Reading, like a Madejski Stadium background. And he also wants two players, which are Gylfi Sigurdsson and Arkadiusz Milik. So what you want to do for that front is go and start again. We're going to type in, let's go for Milik. And the best way to get players with no background is render. So if you type in Milik render, and as you can see, all these players come up with no background, which they look great. So really, I'll probably think not to get one in the Ajax, probably not in the Napoli. So we'll probably get one in the Polish shirt. Now Milik is a great player, so that's a pretty cool picture of him in a shirt. And if you click it, it's got this check background, then you know you're in business. So if we click View Image, Save Image As, just save it wherever you want to save it. And there we go. And then we'll do the same with Gylfi Sigurdsson render. Should come up with similar sort of things. There you go, perfect one of him in an Iceland shirt. Same thing again, View Image, Save Image, Gylfi Sigurdsson, and we'll save it. So there we go. And what we're going to do now is File and Open, and we want to open these two files of the players. So we're going to drag those into this, and then we'll drag Milik in. It's always cool how they're kind of looking in different directions and so on as well. So you don't want to make them ridiculously small just so they fit in there. You want to make them a decent sort of size. So we'll probably have Milik kind of there, just so his head's in there. And then similar sort of thing for Sigurdsson. Make him a tad smaller, so they're similar sort of sizes. And put him there. Drag the font here on the layers, just so it's a head. And obviously you want the font to stand out a little bit better because of these players. But we'll sort that out in a second. If we now go on and type in Madejski Stadium, I think it's still called that, isn't it? Madejski Stadium. We'll go on images, and the best way to get a good sized image, guys, if you go on search tools here, size or large, you know it's always going to be a really good resolution then. And there's a good little picture here with great dimensions here. Normally if there are more than like 2000, it's a good dimension. Click View Image. To be fair, it's a little bit blurred, so it's a good job we kind of had a quick look at that. That's an even better picture. So we'll go on image, copy that image again, and we'll paste it on. So as you can see, a huge image, it covers the whole canvas. We'll want to drag that just so it's above the teal layer. For the time being, I'm going to move those players, and then with these kind of settings, you can always have a look at which kind of fits best. But the best way to probably do it, if I unlock that, is just put the opacity down, just probably really faint, just so it's almost not in the thing, because we still want the teal to be quite dominant in this. So now we've got this kind of dilemma with these players here. So what you can do, I mean, we could do the same with these players, but we do want the Just FM saves to, it's going to blend in too much with his shirt. So on this occasion, I think what's best is to add this shadowing. So I'm not too sure about that, but there you go. That looks pretty cool. Just FM saves. Stands out a little bit more, but Milik's kind of still in the way a little bit, so you could always try and blend that in a little bit more. So I don't know, let's have a quick look if we can sort something out here. Doesn't quite look too, does that look okay? I mean, it's just having a play around really. So if we undo all of that, it still looks okay. However, what I may do is similar to what we've done in this, is just leave that same. So if I drag this back in, I mean, this is the beauty of this sort of stuff, guys. You always need to kind of experiment and see which works best, because the first way that as you've seen with me, the first way isn't always going to be the best way. So if we put it in the middle there, that looks pretty cool, and then we can always mess around with the players afterwards. So as I said, there's no point in kind of just chopping it off here, like chopping the players off square like that, because when you look at it there, it's not going to look, if I just show you, it's not going to look that great. So you're best, as I say, just to kind of leave those be, and we could always feather, like do a faded delete on them anyway. So the Just FM saves looks pretty good in the middle there. We want to make sure these players are kind of central too. So if I merge those two by control on clicking them and then right click merge layers, control A again to centralize them. Just try and do my best there. And then we've got to try and do some sort of effects on these, because I don't want them to kind of be too dominant in this kind of banner really. But if I try and do some sort of, let's see what we can do. I mean, that doesn't look great if I'm honest. Outer glow of some sorts, maybe a little spread, size, that looks pretty cool. Looks a bit better. And then you can always add little effects afterwards, brush effects and so on. I hope I'm not dragging on too much, guys, because obviously I know that I don't want this video to be too long. You can always add spatter effects of some sort. Now these are really cool. If you know how to use a clipping mask, you can really do well with these. So for example, if I'm just, I'll spatter these across the back, and I'll use kind of different ones here. Just add a little spatter effect, guys, and do a couple for Sigurdsson as well. Let's see what we can do. What you have to do is resize those players now behind, just so they cover all the kind of brush strokes and so on. We'll merge those two bigger layers together, merge layers, and then we will do a clipping mask, and there you go. So that actually looks pretty cool. And then you want to add, you can always add your own effects, but look at that, how cool it looks. It's a really cool little effect, guys. So it's just something a bit different, really. It's something that I could show you guys. Just always drop the opacity down on that one. Well, I do like the look of that now, and even you can kind of look at it as in a way to, if we crop it, say this is what you'll view on YouTube and so on, and that actually doesn't look too bad. If you can see that, that just doesn't look too bad at all. So we'll just right click on that. You can always add your little Twitter logos and stuff like that. So his Twitter, I believe, may just be the same sort of name as well. We did have a quick look. So if I just type in Just FM Saves Twitter, yeah, it's at Just FM Saves. So it's the same as that. So all we could do is just a quick one. Some fonts don't have it. I've done it under the clipping mask again. You're gonna go on Just FM Saves. It'll probably have kept what we typed earlier on. So you just want to do that. We'll change the font though, just so it's something a little bit different to look at, something a bit more basic. We'll put that size down, and then again centralize that. Just put it so it's on top, and then we'll put a little. I do have a font which is suitable for like social media, so Twitter and stuff like that. So there you go. We'll just put that next to it, and there we go. So we'll merge those two quickly together, rasterize and merge layers. If you guys again have got any questions, because I probably am going a bit too quick, then just let me know. Again, we'll rasterize and merge those layers, centralize, medium. There we go. So there we go. That is the end of the Twitter banner, and what you'll do is obviously save that. You can put that on your Twitter, put that on your YouTube, or all it'll do, it's pretty straightforward to do. On your Twitter it will just crop it down a bit. But there you go, guys. I hope you did enjoy this tutorial. Again, any questions, let me know. And smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until next time, guys, I'll see you soon.